Hey, Clint here, Crimson Landscape, here talking about your landscape design. Alrighty, here's what I got for you. So on the concrete, I redid the concrete driveway and made it a little bit bigger. Please ignore the shape. The shape will be laid out on site. I just tried to get it close based on the survey. I widened the walk path to the front door. It's 10 feet wide and these little squares or correction rectangles are 3 feet wide by 10 feet, so 30 square feet per. There's a 6 inch gap in between that we can put river rock or lighting in. I really like it. It looks really good that way. Not required, but I think it looks really, really good. I can make these wider. So instead of 3 feet, I can make them 4 feet. It just if I did the math correctly, 3 feet works perfectly and everything lines up. Again, I like it wider. It's grander. It's bigger. It looks really good. I like the lighting in it as well. Some housekeeping notes on the concrete. The concrete that we install is going to be a minimum of 4,000 psi. Number three rebar, which is 3/8 rebar, 6 inches thick on the edges and 4 inches thick in the middle. And we use flex base, aka road base, underneath. We do not use sand. The road base is going to be much better for it packs much better than sand does on any concrete application. A lot of people use sand, but I'm just not a big fan. The cost for flex base is well worth the difference in cost. Alrighty. On if you want it thicker, like you want to be able to support a heavier truck, we can go from 4 inches thick to 6 inches thick. If you want, or if you want to be stronger, I can go from number three rebar to number four rebar. Number four rebar is going to be half-inch rebar. But for almost any residential application, any truck that's 10,000 pounds or less, the 4 inch thick concrete with number three rebar is more than enough. It's just if you want something heavy or you want to mitigate risk, you certainly can go bigger. On the approach, we have no control over the approach dimensions, shape, or concrete thickness. That's all specified by the city of Dallas and will follow their standard specs. I just did something so you can kind of signify kind of how it looks. So this section would be the approach itself that we dial into the city. This little section of sidewalk would have to be replaced on both sides. So the approach is done with one thickness and one type of rebar, and the city sidewalk is done a certain way. So that's just why they're specified separately in this. Just because the city of Dallas requires a couple different specifications for these items. I can replace this whole section of sidewalk right here. If you want to replace that, we would just follow the city of Dallas guidelines for sidewalk replacement. They won't replace it and they won't pay you to replace it. So if you want to look nice and fresh and new, we certainly can do this as part of the project because you'll definitely hit economies of scale. Okay, last thing in the driveway. When I say 4 inches thick, a lot of people will use a 3 inch or we use a 2x4 to frame the driveway. The problem with a 2x4, it's actually only 3.5 inches wide. We will use a 2x6 and adjust to ensure it's a true 4 inches wide. So that's a huge difference. In the final shape and width, we will determine on site. What we do is we best guess square footage on the driveway, then we lay it out on site. Let me go to this angle to kind of specify what I mean by that. So if I zoom in, you can kind of see the new shape. It's about 2 feet wider here in the middle. It's a little wider on the edges. But the shape at the end will just be determined based on how we lay it out for you. And we'll ask you if this is what makes the most sense to make sure it's wide enough. So if a vehicle pulls in here, the widest point needs to be right here as they're turning at the apex. That needs to be so over here at the turn at the apex is the widest. So right here, right before the apex of the driveway, the turn has to be the widest. Then at the apex of the driveway, the turn has to be widest here for the vehicle to make that turn. All right, so let me go into plants. I just wrote grass in the middle here to open the space up for the native Texas plants. And I did plants based on height because I'm not trying to block a line of sight to your house. I'm not trying to stick a shrub where somebody can hide behind it. And I also want to put shrubs in that stand the test of time. So, for example, these shrubs right here don't get very tall and they're not very dense so as you're pulling in and out of your driveway, you're not blocking any view of the vehicle. Same thing with this side right here. So going from left to right, so the yellow is going to be yellow yucca. It's a great plant. I love them. I have them at my house. Out of the yuccas, this one gets a tall yellow bloom, and it's not an overtly fast grower, and it produces beautiful blooms. And then they don't get too big. Like the red yuccas get really big. These don't get too big compared to the red yuccas. Autumn sage here is a perennial. I have this is the Emerald Snow Allure Petalum. Produces a white flower. This is going to be May Night Salvia. This is going to be a soft leaf yucca. This is going to be a flavor of abelia, probably like a Canyon Creek abelia. It just depends on what they have in stock when we go to order the plants. Canyon Creek abelias will have a slight orange tint to the leaf, and they produce a beautiful white flower, and they're going to be at the apex of the drive. Color Guard Yucca, I have a version of Daisy here. Same thing with the daisies. There's going to be varying flavors of daisies. One second. Daisies in stock, and we're going to pick the daisies that make the most sense for your application. Okay. Repeat the pattern just slightly. Laura Petalum here, Emerald Snow. This is going to be catmint, one of my favorite plants in the entire world. It does so well here. It is absolutely gorgeous. Then repeat the yucca. Then you have the 4 lights to illuminate this side of the driveway. Okay, going towards the house. I didn't want anything that gets too big near the house, with the exception of on the corners. So that's why this layout is the way it is. We have this is going to be a bridal resprea or a double white sprea, depending on which one they have in stock. To the layman, they look exactly the same. Just a slightly different variation. This is going to be a pink mully grass in the back for a touch of interest in the fall. They have a bright pink, beautiful bloom in the winter. It's like a fluffy bloom. In the back, I went with a low maintenance evergreen shrub, which will be the dwarf Yopon holly. Definitely do the 7 gallons. I repeated the pink mully, Texas sage, a flavor of daisy here. These are going to be daylilies. I want at that distance, based on the color of the brick, I needed something yellow near the house to get a pop of color at distance. That's why I picked the daisies. I'm sorry, the daylilies. In front here is going to be the Rose Creek Abelia. Such a great plant. Border is going to be a thick steel edge. It's a natural raw color that's going to patina and natural rust color. So it fades into your landscape. Then a couple boulders to fill in as an option if you want to look a little more interest, to make it look a little more native Texas. I didn't do any river rock in your landscape beds because with this linear shape of your house, it just really wasn't needed. Left side is going to be a slight repeat of the right side. It's modified to fit the space, but when you have a house that is very symmetrical, your landscape needs to look a little symmetrical. It doesn't have to, it just looks best when it does. Big changes in the back here as filler plants is I have a giant liripe here and a giant liripe here. Everything else is basically the same, just less of it. All right. Over here, if you wanted a little bit of a privacy shrub over here, or just kind of something to block the alley, I did a couple of Nellie R. Stevens hollies. We can do one long landscape bed here, or we can do them like a tree where they planted them with the grasses around it, your choice. Just something kind of tall, has a little bit of girth to it. Okay. Let me go to lights, let you see the lights. All right. Let me adjust it. There you go. All right, so we have lights along your house, we have lights in the gap, then we have lights here along the driveway. I can put lights on this tree. I can put lights in this. Your big. I didn't. These big trees are not coming out here. So your shade trees, I did not plan to coming out. I just put stumps in there because as we're going through the design video, I don't want to block your view. All right, so let me send you this video. You can look through it if you want to send an email feedback, or if you want to jump on a Zoom call to discuss all your options and plant options and what you like and don't like. We can make the changes from there. If you have any questions, or if you're first time guest and you want more information, you can check us out at crimsonlandscape.com.